called Midwife Keyshawn's Limes and Thyme. So we have fresh squeezed lime juice and we have some cane simple syrup infused with thyme. So this is how the recipe goes. If you all love math like I do, the ratio is 1-1-2. 1 part lime juice, 1 part simple syrup, and then 2 parts vodka. So this is how this looks because we having a lot of fun in here. So we're gonna do 1 cup of our simple syrup. Yes, everything is in a cucumber vodka container. And you all see my cup? I'm going all the way to 1 cup.
That's what counts.
And pour it up.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, and it's pouring.
FTK, can I get a little camera action?
Got it.
There we go.
All right.
There you go.
Are we all present and accounted for?
All present and accounted
Here, present.
Happy hour time.
Yes.
Woo. That's how you do it. In case y'all did not know, we are Facebook Living right now. Facebook Living with you guys as we get ready for Virtually Vibing. Let's talk chocolate milk. Virtually Vibing happy hour number 2. Y'all see we about to be happy. My sister Heather, Laissez-Faire production group just put together that phenomenal drink. And now we're going to have a little happy hour time. If you are going to be joining us for this Virtually Vibing happy hour, we want you to go get you a drink too, so that you can hang out and chill with us during this time. It's going to be super exciting. We are excited about it. We already have some people in the house, it looks like, that are here. We are happy that you are here. We are just getting it started. So if you are here, get your drink. Be ready to virtually vibe and talk chocolate milk. We're super excited about it. Shakrani, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. This is exciting.
Yes,
fun and work. Come on now.
Yes, and learn.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what the art of birthing is about. Yes. Informing, enlightening, uplifting, educating, celebrating Black birth, Black family, Black love. And today, Black breastfeeding is Black Breastfeeding Week. Right?
Yes, it is.
How does Facebook look? Okay, fantastic. I just want to know what's rolling. I don't need to, we good. As long as I know we rolling out there on Facebook, then I know that we're good. If you're on Facebook and you did not register for this live webinar tonight, you're missing out, because only those of you who registered and are present have an opportunity to win our Virtually Vibing box for 2 that can be used to attend all of our virtual events during the Art of Birthing that starts on September 21st. You have another opportunity to get involved and to win. Make sure you go to theartofbirthing.info and you can register for the Power of Home Birth, which is going to happen on Labor Day. And then you too can have your chance. And in fact, you might could jump on into the website right now and register and get in here right now and get on and get your opportunity to win. I'm not sure how fast you can do all that, but you still have, let's see, we officially get started at 6. You don't really have no time. You might have missed it. It's 6 o'clock. We're going to wait for Heather to get back in her space, and then we are going to get started. We are super excited to be here and to move into the art of birthing. Mm-hmm. Yes, come through. Yeah. I have my art of birthing.
Hold on.
Hey!
It's a celebration.
Celebration time. Come on. All right, Heather is back. It is 6 o'clock, maybe even 6:01. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's go. Good evening and welcome to the Art of Birthing, where our goal is to use art as advocacy to inform and inspire. Thank you for showing up to join the vibe. Now get your cocktail or your mocktail and get ready and get comfortable so you can feel the vibration. This is our second of 3 virtually vibing happy hours, where we are giving you a sneak peek into our Birth Justice Film Festival. On August 12th, we spoke with Shaquita Lockley of the documentary Eggs Over Easy, and tonight we are celebrating Black Breastfeeding Week. We will be joined by Elizabeth Bane, director and producer of Chocolate Milk, the documentary. We'll also be joined by Kimberly Sills Allers, award-winning journalist, breastfeeding champion, and creator of the Earth app. So Birthing officially kicks off on September 21st, and it is being presented and brought to you by Sista Midwife Productions, Laissez-Faire Production Group, and Them Black Mamas Podcast. We want to give a special thank you to our many sponsors and community partners who believe in our mission and who are helping to make these events happen. And tonight, we want to give a special thank you to the New Orleans Public Library as we help them kick off their new series, Black Health Matters. Once again, welcome to the Art of Birthing and our second virtually vibing happy hour. It's time to vibe as we talk chocolate milk. All right. So there you have it. The information about the art of birthing. I am just, y'all know there is always, we're good. Always checking technical things. If you've never done a Zoom production, hey, make sure you get you a good production crew. Shout out to DJ FTK for helping us out with this one right here today. So let me see y'all, hold on. Yes, here we go. Happy to be here with my girl, Shukrani Gray. Yes, look, don't laugh at me. I'm like, oh my God, this happy hour hasn't even started and I'm already doing this thing, right? So we are super excited to be here partnering with the New Orleans Public Library. And we have with us as one of our co-hosts this evening, Shukrani Gray, who is the African-American Resource Collection, Equity and Inclusion Librarian. I bet y'all didn't even know that existed. Thank you, Shukrani, for being here.
You are so welcome. Thank you for inviting me. This is so important to me, even though I am a woman who does not have children, but I am still an advocate for women in our community, and this information is so exciting. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about this whole series, Black Wellness Matters. This is our first event, our first partnership. We are partnering with African-American organizers and authors in the community in New Orleans to talk about health, mental health, and physical health. And so next month in September, September 23rd to be exact, we will be talking with Derek Shackelford and the True Love Movement, and he will be using his book, Resolving Rape Culture, as a frame to talk about Black mental health and wellness in New Orleans. So if you all want to check up on the rest of our series, please visit the African American Resource Collection Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you, Shukrani. And I will say that I'm excited about this new series and really happy that we're able to partner with the library during their first Black Wellness Matters. Right now, we're talking about Black Breastfeeding Matters, and we know that Black breastfeeding is integral to Black wellness. So tonight, as we talked about already, we're going to be joined by some phenomenal breastfeeding advocates and supporters. We're going to have some giveaways. We're going to tell you a little bit more about the art of birthing and how you can not only get involved, how you can attend and be able to virtually vibe with us all week long. Now, Elizabeth Bane is a producer and director of Chocolate Milk, the documentary. And what we're going to do now is give you a clip, a little glimpse into her documentary, Chocolate Milk, particularly from a clip that she provided us when she was first getting started, first working through really what came up for her, where she was thinking about, and how she was moving forward to create this documentary. So we're going to go ahead and show you that clip right now.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Bane, and I'm the director of Chocolate Milk, a documentary exploring breastfeeding in Black America. African American women breastfeed at lower rates than any other group in the U.S., including Asian, Hispanic. Hi, my name is Elizabeth Bane, and I'm the director of Chocolate Milk, a documentary exploring breastfeeding in Black America. African American women breastfeed at lower rates than any other group in the U.S., including Asian, Hispanic, and white women. So basically what you're seeing behind me is not the norm. The reason this matters is that it puts our children at higher risk for asthma, obesity, diabetes, and other chronic diseases, the very same health conditions that disproportionately affect the Black community. When I learned this, I was like, what? I mean, it's free, it's better than formula, and it's literally what these were made for. So what I couldn't understand is why aren't more Black women breastfeeding? Could it be A, we hate babies? No, we love babies. Could it be that we, B, hate our breasts? No, we love those too. Then is it C, Black women are bad moms? Just kidding. We all know that Black women are incredible mothers. So really, what is it? Why aren't more Black women breastfeeding? When I looked into it, I discovered that the actual reasons are a lot more complicated. And the answers lie in the way the food industry markets to our communities, the way we're treated by the medical establishment, and also just the way we experience the world as Black women. In the documentary, we plan to explore all these issues and more. We are putting together an amazing production team, including Sandra Valde, our primary cinematographer, Andy Richards, one of our producers, Academy Award-winning documentary filmmaker, Mark Jonathan Harris as our esteemed advisor, and myself, an award-winning video producer with a master's in public health from Yale and an MFA in film from the Art Center College of Design. Together, we plan to follow a group of Black women in the first months of their newborns' lives to see if they're able to exclusively breastfeed for the first 6 months. That's the amount of time recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. We plan to collect their experiences and their challenges to see why it's so hard for a Black woman to breastfeed in America. We're also going to interview breastfeeding experts and representatives from the medical, food, and advertising industries to understand why formula feeding is so pervasive. And we'll talk to everyday people about their experiences to seeing women breastfeed in public. Production begins in 2016, and we're looking for individuals, partner organizations, and corporate sponsors to support this project. Is breastfeeding just for stay-at-home moms, hippies, and white people? Or is there a chance that breastfeeding could also be accepted as a cultural norm in Black America too? We plan to find out
All
in
right,
Chocolate
all
Milk, the
right, all
documentary.
right.
Please stay tuned.
Here we go. So that was a preview, a promo that Miss Elizabeth Bane created as she was deciding about why she wanted to do this documentary. And some of the things that you heard, like she really was mesmerized, like why aren't Black women breastfeeding more? Fortunately, today, we do know that there are many more Black women breastfeeding than when she first started out. That was done in 2015 before she did the documentary. And now the documentary is complete. The documentary is available to be screened. And this is Black Breastfeeding Week. And we won't be showing it this week, but there are other places where you can possibly see it. And as a result of that, I think at some point, what did we just discover, Heather?
Just, you know, it's Black Breastfeeding Week. So many of the leaders
Events,
in
yes.
Black breastfeeding, you know, they're having some difficulties with just like keeping everything together because we got all these different time zones because this is a nationwide celebration of Black breastfeeding. So Elizabeth will be joining us, just not at the exact time that we had originally planned. So
fantastic.
Okay. Yeah,
yes, let's talk about breastfeeding. I know you breastfed, Heather. Yeah.
Both of my children.
Yes.
And I posted about it, and I definitely want to give a shout out to my sister, Hushu Krani, that is with us, also knows. I had beautiful natural births, but honestly, I did have some difficulty with breastfeeding both of them. And so my sister was always present immediately following birth to come and work with me and to help me to get the latch right so that I could, in fact, get on the road to success with breastfeeding. And then I breastfed my oldest a little bit after a year. And then I breastfed my youngest, I think about the same time, maybe about a year and a half.
Yes, and Kaylele, those of you who know me, I don't know if you could know Nicole, Sister Midwife, without knowing Kaylele. Kaylele breastfed for 3 years, and it was a really interesting experience. Fortunately for me, I had an understanding and I had knowledge about breastfeeding. I didn't have to think about whether I wanted to breastfeed or not. I think that that's one of the big issues that we have, because I know, Heather, you grew up seeing breastfeeding. Shakrani, did you grow up seeing breastfeeding?
I was going to say that, you know, I grew up in what is called a Pan-Africanist community, and breastfeeding was everywhere for me. So that was always the natural route to go. You had a baby and you breastfed. But then as I got older and I went out into the world, I realized that that wasn't the norm. That wasn't what most people thought. And so I'm really happy for movements like this that's getting people back into that. I think it's so much healthier.
You know, and it's so interesting because, like you, I won't say that I grew up seeing breastfeeding. I have one baby that was around me when I was younger to really remember and think about. But what I can say is when I became of age to think about my own children, because I was already a labor and delivery nurse, because I was already a midwife and had been for years, the notion for me that I wouldn't breastfeed wasn't even a question. But now I find, and it's all around me. I train doulas, I know midwives, so everywhere I look, there is breastfeeding. But then I meet young women who will say to me, "You're the first person I've ever seen breastfeed breastfeeder. That's the first person I've ever seen breastfeed out in the open. And I'm like, wow. And Kaylee breastfed for 3 years. I remember being the person who said, as soon as she could ask and say, Mama, I want milk, that's a wrap. I'm not breastfeeding anymore. Once she could open up her mouth and say something about it, I'm not breastfeeding anymore. But she was 3 years old talking about, Mama, can I have milk, please, in full sentences after she ate her food. So I did not, I didn't stick to it. I really, and I enjoyed it so much. I really, really did.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think for me, it was such a joy, and it's amazing. Just the kind of relationship that you're able to create with your child, that bonding that you do really get from breastfeeding. And with my youngest, with Aurora, I would breastfeed her at night. And once I had her start to sleep in her regular bed, which was right at around a year, there would be times when I couldn't sleep at night
without having her.
Yes. And so I would go and get her out of bed to breastfeed her to put myself back to sleep.
Yes. Oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
So it's soothing for mama and baby. There are so many benefits to breastfeeding. You know, when we think about babies, we've heard some of these benefits before around helping to decrease infections. It builds immunity, it builds brain cells, but there are also a lot of benefits for mothers with breastfeeding. There is a beautiful experience where mothers feel closer to their babies. There's all sorts of just emotional energy that happens when a mother is breastfeeding. Her endorphins go up, right? Your endorphins are the high hormones that make you feel good. Yeah. When you're breastfeeding, you also decrease your risk of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, from breastfeeding, right? And your period don't come right back after you have your baby if you breastfeed for long. We do understand that everybody cannot easily breastfeed. You know, that's one of the things when Kimberly Stills Alders comes on that we'll talk about a little bit, because there is just this divide. Like, we tell women we want you to breastfeed, but then we understand that our culture has barriers everywhere to stop us from successfully breastfeeding. Shukrani, is there, have you seen breastfeeding in the library?
I have not seen breastfeeding in the library. I've worked in 2 libraries. I've worked in Jefferson Parish, and I've also worked here in New Orleans. And I know there was a big conversation in Jefferson Parish about providing spaces, trying to reconfigure the library so that women had a safe place, because that was the biggest thing. Like, nobody wants to go in the bathroom. That's always the solution. Just go in the bathroom and feed the baby. And that was always, you know, and like, you don't want to eat in the bathroom. So what makes you think that's where I want to do that? But so, you know, as libraries are reconfiguring their spaces, that's a big conversation, providing these areas. Yeah.
Yes, it's an interesting thing. And I know that there are some places where, you know, they have signage that says breastfeeding welcome here. Do you all have those sorts of signs at the New Orleans Public Library?
We do not.
Oh, we're gonna have to work on that.
Right, but to make a point,
go ahead, make your point. I'm hearing some chimes.
That's why these collaborations are important, so that we can fill these gaps. Yes. I know what that sound means.
Yay, I heard the happy hour chime. We are virtually vibing. This is a virtually vibing happy hour. And if you don't have anything in your cup, it is time to take a break, to go to the potty, to go to the bathroom. And hey, listen, happy hour does not have to mean alcoholic beverage. You can have a mocktail for happy hour. You can have tea for happy hour. You can have coffee. You can drink water, right? You showed up. Right now is the time to go fill your beverage cup, okay? So we're going to, Heather.
Yes, I am.
Is going to talk to you about a phenomenal recipe that you can use for all of our other virtually vibing events, particularly when we start doing our events in September and you get your box at your house.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you weren't with us before the 6 o'clock hour where I made our huge cocktail, I am showing you how to make a 1-person cocktail. And I created this recipe, and I did it as an ode to Midwife Pichon, which is the midwife that delivered babies in the 7th Ward, Boscoville, New Orleans. She delivered my grandmother at home, along with many of my grandmother's younger, sisters and brothers. And so I really wanted to acknowledge her and to say her name, because she was one of New Orleans's own midwives. So again, the ratio is 1-1-2. So 1 part fresh squeezed lime juice, 1 part thyme infused simple syrup, because it's called limes and thyme. And then 2 shots of our cucumber vodka. So 1, you see we have our cute little 7-3 cups. All right. And while we shake this up and get our cocktails refilled, we're going to let you enjoy a little video from 2014. Teach me how to breastfeed. Teach me how to breastfeed.
Be like tea. What? Can you teach me how to breastfeed? I heard it's free, and all my baby really need. Yo, listen up, grab your partner, and I'll show you how. It's super easy and the best way to feed your child. Hold your baby close and let him pick a side. Nose to nipple will help her open really wide. Lay back and put your baby on top of you. Get comfy and watch what little man can do. If he's on right, it shouldn't hurt you. Don't worry if the other side squirts too. When you feed her, don't watch the clock, cause baby girl knows just when to stop. Skin to skin, keeps your baby nice and warm. Cross cradle, support your baby in your arms. It may take time, but be patient. Feed her on demand, don't keep that baby waiting. Teach me how to breastfeed, teach me how to breastfeed. Teach me how to breastfeed, teach me how to breastfeed. All the babies love it, all the babies love it. All the babies love it. You ain't messing with my breast milk. Teach me how to breastfeed. 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 All the babies love it. All the babies love it. All the babies love it. You ain't messing with my breast milk. Filled with lots of vitamins plus immune protection that only you can give. The first milk, we call it liquid gold, perfect for a newborn that's only 1 day old. It's super sticky and it's thick like honey, just the right amount to fill your baby's tiny tummy. So when you see that poop and you wanna scream, by day 2, it should go from black to green. If his poops are frequent and a mustard yellow, you're doing good, so let it flow. Don't forget to nurse on both sides, sit back, relax, and stare into your baby's eyes. You can be an A cup or a triple D, you'll still make all the milk your baby needs. Healthy and strong, your baby will surely grow. A bond that lasts forever, only you will know. Teach me how to breastfeed, teach me how to breastfeed. Teach me how to breastfeed, teach me how to breastfeed. All the babies love it, all the babies love it. All the babies love it. You ain't messing with my breast milk. Teach me how to breastfeed, teach me how to breastfeed. Teach me how to breastfeed, teach me how to breastfeed. All the babies love it, all the babies love it. All the babies love it. You ain't messing with my breast milk.
Hey, teach me how to breastfeed. Teach me how to breastfeed. All the babies love it. Hey, look, you ain't messing with my breast milk. Shukrani, I saw you jamming, girl.
No, but wait, I want to say this. One thing about that video, it redefines your relationship with your breast. You know, because we always see breasts in this sexualized thing. And this is just like women being women with the things that God gave them. I love this.
Yes. Oh my God. I remember I had met, so Jennifer is an IBCLC who lives in California. I don't know, Northern or Southern, don't quote me, but I remember meeting her at a Black Midwives and Healers conference. And then very shortly after that, the video came out and I was all geek, like, oh my God, I know her, I met her. She is wonderful. If you out there, you don't know Jennifer, check her out, look her up. It's an old video that was done in combination with the WIC clinic. And I'm sorry, y'all, listen. When I start talking about this Black birth and Black breastfeeding stuff, I get excited. I start hollering and screaming, and I'm from New Orleans. So now, if you from New Orleans, then you understand this, we loud. Not every family is loud. I do know some not loud families, but most of us are loud. I'm loud. So I got my people telling me I'm talking too loud.
I too am loud. I understand.
Yeah. Okay. So I was so excited that I knew Jennifer and I had met her, right? Exciting. Thank you. Though I need those reminders. And so if you've never seen that video, this is a perfect time. Share it, blast it. I feel like every year, every Black Breastfeeding Week, it comes back and it gets more exciting. And I was so excited to be able to share it with you all. So if you hadn't seen it before in Shukrani, I saw you just jamming. You was like, yeah. And then the Dougie had everything about, I know all the lyrics. I'm not going to sing them because I don't want to embarrass myself or any of you by singing it. What else did you find really intriguing about that video, Shukrani?
You know, I did mention earlier that I came up in a Pan-Africanist movement. And so I went to and one of the things that they said was you teach to song. Right. So listening to the lyrics of the song, I'm like, all of these are instructions. This is amazing. Like, look, I'm all excited too. This is amazing. Like, it's so dry. Like, read this pamphlet about breastfeeding so that you can know how to breastfeed. No, if I'm singing this song about the poop going from blue to green, I mean, green to brown, whatever.
Brown to green.
To yellow.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, the song like that will stick in your head longer than any pamphlet that you've ever read.
Yes. And I love how she clearly, when I teach the women that I train in my doula training and anywhere else, we talk about creating relationships. And what I also love about this video is how it's very clear that she had relationships with those women in that video. You would not be on that video singing with her, being silly with her if you did not already have. So she knew these women, they had relationships. So it was just beautiful. I absolutely loved it. Heather, I think I introduced it to you too, right? What did you think when you first saw it?
I was amazed. I was like, okay, where did you get this from? And Nicole is singing all the lyrics while it's playing. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that you and Victoria brought it up during our doula training last year in October and introduced it to all of the doula trainees that were there at the time. And I think exactly like Shukrani said, I think it's so amazing because it is so well written. And it's such a home video that you cannot be mad that it's not like the best production. You're like, they put this project together. They made it so that it was very good instructional lyrics. And then they put that out to their community to excite their Black community about breastfeeding.
Yes.
So I love it.
I did too, man. Let me see. Do we have any comments or questions from the ladies who are on the line right here? Look, we have people. I whip my titty out anywhere when my baby is hungry. LOL. Somebody say, me too, girl. Look, somebody say, I'm from Chicago. That's you.
That's Talika.
So it sure is Talika. Talika, you can't win again tonight now, Talika. Come on. You won last week.
Shout out Chicago. That's where I'm from.
Hey, exactly. Anybody else have any? No, she say I'm loud. Talika say I'm loud too. She loud and she from Chicago. Chicago is loud. She crying from Chicago, so that makes sense. Okay, then New Orleans. It's nothing but one big pipeline. All we did was travel up,
right?
From the south straight north. It's all the same.
That's true.
Any questions or comments or thoughts from our visitors, those of you who are on the line, who are hanging out virtually vibing with us? We really want to thank you. We do apologize that Ms. Bane got tied up this evening. We were looking forward to talking to her, but we understand that this is a powerful week. It's Black Breastfeeding Week. So as you can imagine, she's been getting pulled left and right. I almost double booked myself. I looked at I saw an Instagram post today and I got tagged in it for an event I'm participating on this weekend. And I was like, wait, is that on my calendar? So there's a lot happening and yeah, I just got in. Hello, everyone. Hey, DJ, we see you. Thank you for being here. So are there any questions, comments, or thoughts from anybody that's in our audience that they would like to share, whether it's about breastfeeding, whether it's about, I wanted to know, I'm not even going to try to go to my Facebook Live and see if there are any questions there. I'm not that IT savvy, y'all. I'm not that IT savvy. Yes, come on.
Nico. People always talk about the benefits of breastfeeding, but can you kind of compare it to breastfeeding versus, I don't know, formula feeding? Can you? What are the differences?
Yeah, absolutely. There are many differences. So first, and I don't want to misspeak, so let me think that artificial milk is what they're also calling it too. Don't quote me on that, because formula was really created originally for women who were literally unable to breastfeed, or their babies were unable to feed from them because, you know, years ago when formula became popular, NICUs were not the same that they are today. So they created literally specific formulas. They would take the weight, they would draw the blood, they would the doctors would mix something up specifically for that baby. And some baby, nurseries and NICUs, each infant had their own literal formula. And that's how the word formula came, but it's really artificial milk, right? It's cow-based, so people do want to know that. A lot of times people think that I don't even know what people think. People don't even realize that formula is cow's milk. And that's what it is. It's not something just magically made out of the sky. It is cow's milk mixed with some other things. So first of all, formula costs money. Breast milk is free. Formula is not a natural substance. We have breasts. We are mammals. A lot of people don't think about it in this way, but we are mammals. And so when we were developed, just like any other mammal, be it a dog, a giraffe, an elephant, a cow, whatever, we have milk that we make in our breasts that we are designed to give to our babies, that our babies are specially designed to receive. When we give our infants milk from other mammals, which by the way, we are the only mammal that gives our babies another mammal's milk. We're the only mammal that does that. Like a cow wouldn't go get some cat milk or now, we've seen pictures, we've seen videos of cute little puppies, taking milk from a cat, or a cute little kitten taking milk from a dog. I don't know how accurate those videos are, but generally speaking, we're the only mammal that will do that. And so there are all sorts of allergy reactions where infants who are formula fed have increase in allergies. They have increase in lifelong obesity. They have increase in lifelong diabetes. And then I also spoke earlier about some of the benefits for mothers, where there's decrease in breast cancer, there's decrease in ovarian cancer, there's decrease in heart attacks, all of these things. I often say during Wear Red for Women, when we're having that conversation, we should also include breastfeeding. When we're having Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we should also talk about breastfeeding. And unfortunately, oftentimes in these conversations, moms who have difficulty breastfeeding, they know that moms who want to breastfeed, who then have difficulty breastfeeding, they feel some kind of way because they understand, I knew these things. I know these things. I wanted to be able to breastfeed, but I couldn't. I couldn't because I didn't get the support that I need. I couldn't because they started sending formulas to my house and my baby was crying at 3:00 in the morning and I just went to the formula. They couldn't because their auntie, their grandma, their mama said, give that baby a bottle, girl, that baby's on that titty too long. They couldn't because they needed support and they couldn't afford or have the resources or even know somebody who could come to their house and assist them with breastfeeding. They couldn't because they had to go back to work in 2 weeks. There are so many barriers, particularly when we talk about Black women in breastfeeding. So on the one hand, we want to say everybody should breastfeed. But on the other hand, we do not have a society that supports the normal transition from having a baby into mothering, breastfeeding for you want to tell me breastfeed for a year, but you telling me that I need to go back to work in 4 weeks. That doesn't even add up.
So
that
now
doesn't
wait,
even add up. Yes.
all of those points that you just made, we have a chat question here that kind of touches on all of them.
Come on.
T. Luna Imhotep. And this person says, so I have a sister who's extended nursing. The baby is now 3 and doesn't have much support. What would you say to a mama to affirm her choice while people around her are judging her?
I would just do that. I would affirm her choice and say, girl, this is your baby, your breast, your relationship. I can say that, but that doesn't mean it's easy when she go home to Big Mama, right? I'm not home with her when she's talking to Big Mama. See, once we get into extended breastfeeding, it's a whole nother level of conversation. I had pro breastfeeding friends challenge me about breastfeeding after 2 years. They started taunting me and teasing me and okay, a year, 2 years, but not, girl, you passed 2 years. It's what we're doing, right? You just have to understand that everybody doesn't understand it. Everybody's not in agreement, particularly when we're looking at Black people. I have an elder who I love dearly, who is brilliant, who I've known since high school. And my daughter was about a year when she met her. And we went to her house for breakfast. We had grits and eggs and we had fruit. And then Kaylee wanted to nurse after eating. And so I see her looking at me. And I'm like, are you looking at me because you're trying to figure out how she's still eating? She's like, no, I've just never seen a 1-year-old child breastfeed. Now, this was an elder. She's like 80, okay? She thought that was out of line. But I was strong enough in my convictions to say, okay, child, but just because now you've seen it, right? And now you know it's normal and it's okay. And so, unfortunately, all I could say to that person is provide support, provide encouragement, let her know that she has a right and a choice, and there is nothing wrong with extended breastfeeding if that's what she chooses for her family, period.
I have a comment on that too.
Go ahead. Come on, Heather.
So I think that my advice to that person will really be for her to choose her 3 solid convictions, right? And that way you can educate people. Because when people come at you, sometimes they don't really anticipate being questioned or to engage you in a conversation about it. And so when you can give them 3 solid things: 1, I'm breastfeeding because it's free. 2, it's the most nutritious thing that I can provide to my baby.
Come on, Heather.
3, if anything is going on in my child's immune system, without me even trying, my breasts are adapting, and so is the milk. Why do you think I shouldn't? Then let them see if they can come up with 3 reasons.
Come through, Heather.
Hey, teach me how to breastfeed.
Teach me how to breastfeed. All the babies love it. All the babies love it. All the babies love it. Yes, thank you. That was beautiful.
One more. Can I throw in this one more comment?
Yep, go ahead.
So what recommendations do you suggest to increase success in breastfeeding amongst our Black patients? And that was Lindsay.
Yeah, I think that it just goes back to the same situation. Like, I love what Heather just shared, like, come up with your 3 points. Well, this is why, and this is why, and this is why. So what do you think? Do you think I shouldn't? Like, why would, like, that was brilliant. I love that. I'm gonna write that down, add it to my doula training. I think the other thing is just, we have a lot of systemic things that we need to improve upon. So where that, increasing the number of Black IBCLCs and CLCs, IBCLC, International Board Certified Lactation Consultants, CLC, Certified Lactation Consultants, WIC peer, not just WIC, but peer breastfeeding educators, increasing the number of Black midwives, increasing the number of Black doulas, educating fathers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we've got to educate fathers and grandmothers, because aunties and them, because they are the ones who very often are the ones chastising her for wanting to continue breastfeeding. I got an amen corner up in here, y'all. It's so tight. I love our amen corner. Let me bring it down.
You know how excited we get.
Woo! Wait, and then I got the cocktail going. I'm like, oh Lord, yes. But all of those things, it is. And the one thing that I always say whenever I have these kinds of conversations is to know that the tide is turning.
Yes.
Know that the pendulum is swinging. Know that as you are on this call, know that as there is a need and a desire to see something like this conversation happen. 20 years ago, nobody would even showed up for this conversation. So there was a time 60 years ago, let me think, does that make sense? Yeah, 60 years ago when everybody was breastfeeding. Then in the 60s, it was just like everything else. Systematically, they pushed formula into our communities. Systematically, they pushed hospital birth into our communities. Systematically, they removed the fathers from our homes. This is not accidental. So as we continue to build back all of those various pieces into our community, breastfeeding too will come back. And when we have documentaries like Chocolate Milk, and you can go to her YouTube channel, because she didn't just create this documentary. She has a whole series of shorts, of interviews with different Black women, IBCLCs, professionals talking about these topics that really give perspective and insight. This is a journey for our people, for our community. It's not going to happen overnight. They were systematically encouraged to not breastfeed. And so now we have to systematically move it back the other direction.
I'm going to take us. So, good people. It looks like Elizabeth may not be able to make it, but one of the things, we wanted to at least be able to show the promo, this conversation about chocolate milk breastfeeding in the Black community. Elizabeth was in fact able to share what she felt that her 4 biggest takeaways would be from the film. So if you are tuned into our Birth Justice Festival, this is what you'll see. So when we look at Let's Talk Chocolate Milk, not Let's Talk the Chocolate Milk, Chocolate Milk, the documentary.
There you go.
Let's talk chocolate milk.
The first takeaway from Elizabeth Bane is that breastfeeding is not easy, but it is something that you and your baby can in fact do together. So again, reaffirming that for the Black community, for those of us that really want to do that. Takeaway number 2, support can come in all forms, from a partner or a spouse to a best friend, or like my sister, or a lactation worker. Takeaway number 3, get prepared early, before giving birth, from breastfeeding classes to planning your meal train, because your meal train and your nutrition is a big part of your breast milk production. And takeaway number 4, Black women do breastfeed.
Yes.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So we want to give a thank you to Elizabeth. Thank you for sending that over. We look forward to having the opportunity to talk with you on the 26th.
Yes.
And we're halfway through. So
Uh-oh.
I want you to get everybody reminded why they need to stay tuned, Nicole.
Yes. We do want you to stay tuned. We are halfway through. I do have to say this one thing. Don't believe the myths, y'all. Stop spreading them lies. You can breathe. Black women do breastfeed. Black women do home birth. We do all these things, bro. Know it, say it, believe it. Anyway,
wait, before you move on, I want to jump in as a person who does not have children. What I'm getting from this is the career choices that are out there that people never think about. Like, who thinks about being all those letters that you said that I cannot repeat?
That long acronym.
All the acronyms. I had no idea those were choices of careers. So that's another part of this that's important.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. This is exciting. Woohoo! All right, we are at the halfway mark. And one of the things with the art of birthing is, in addition to doing documentaries and having various different, we say we use various forms of artistic expression to raise awareness about birth disparities and outcomes, right? And so one of the things that we do is we use spoken word. I used to always have this event called Giving Voice to Birth. Right now, it's COVID, so we can't really give Voice to Birth live in a spoken word open mic event, but we can bring you some phenomenal spoken words. So tonight, we're gonna do that, a thought-provoking piece of spoken word called Embarrassed. It's by a woman named Holly McNish from her book, Nobody Told Me, a journey from pregnancy to preschool in poetry and prose. So we're gonna share this with you, and when we come back, we're gonna give you a giveaway. So stick through it, get your giveaway, come on.
I thought it was okay. I could understand the reasons. They said there might be a man or a nervous child seeing this small piece of flesh that they weren't quite expecting. So I whispered and tiptoed with nervous discretion. But after 6 months of her life sat sitting on lids, sipping on milk nostrils, sniffing on piss, trying not to bang her head on toilet roll dispensers, I wonder whether these public loo feeds offend her. I am getting tired of discretion and being polite. As my baby's first sips are drowned, drenched in shite, I spent the first feeding months of her beautiful life feeling nervous and awkward and wanting everything right. Surrounded by family till I stepped out the house. It took me 8 weeks to get the confidence to go into town. Now the comments around me cut like a knife as I rush into toilet cubicles, feeling nothing like nice. Because I'm giving her milk that's not in a bottle. Wishing the cocaine generation white powder would topple. I see pyramid sales pitches across our green globe and female breasts banned, unless they're out just for show. And the more I go out, the more I can't stand it. I walk into town, feel I'm surrounded by bandits, because in this country are billboards covered in tits and family newsagent magazines full of it. W.H. Smith top shelves out for men, why don't you complain about them then? In this country are billboards covered in tits and family newsagent magazines full of it. W.H. Smith top shelves out for men. I'm getting embarrassed in case a small flash of flesh might offend. And I am not trying to parade this. I don't want to make a show. But when I'm told I'd be better just staying at home. And when another friend I know is thrown off a bus and another mother told to get out of a pub, even my grandma said maybe I was sexing it up. And I'm sure the milk makers love all this fuss, all the cussing and worry and looks of disgust as another mother turns from nipples to powder, ashamed or embarrassed by comments around her. And as I hold her head up and pull my cardi across and she sips on that liquor made by everyone's God, I think for God's sake Jesus drank it. So did Siddhartha, Muhammad and Moses and both of their fathers, Ganesh and Shiva and Brigid and Buddha. And I'm sure they weren't doing it sniffing on shit as their mothers sat embarrassed on cold toilet lids in a country of billboards covered in tits. In a country of low-cut tops, cleavage and skin, in a country of cloth bags and recycling bins. And as I desperately try to take all of this in, I hold her head up. I can't get my head round the anger towards us and not to the sound of lorries offloading formula milk into countries where water runs dripping in filth, in towns where breasts are oases of life, now dried up in 2-for-1 offers enticed by labels and logos and gold standard rights claiming breast milk is healthier, powdered and white, packaged and branded and sold at a price so that nothing is free in this money-fueled life, which is fine if you need it or prefer to use bottles where water is clean and bacteria boil. But in towns where they drown in pollution and sewage, bottled kids die and they knew that they'd do it. In towns where pennies are savoured like sweets, we are now paying for one thing that has always been free. In towns empty of hospital beds, babies die, diarrhea-fueled that breast milk would end. So no more will I sit on these cold toilet lids, no matter how embarrassed I feel as she sips. Because in this country of billboards, covered in tits, I think I should try to get used to this.
Hey, we back. Yo, that was a dope piece.
Yeah, it was.
Shukrani, we're going to give you 1 second to make a comment. If anybody want to type in a comment, and here is why. Because I looked at the time and I'm like, man, we have another speaker coming up and she's going to be ready for us in a few seconds. And we have a giveaway before we get to her. But I do want to hear your comments on this piece, Shukrani, before we move forward.
Oh, you must have seen my face. That was amazing. That was amazing because we talked earlier about being forced to breastfeed in the bathroom, but she just blew that thing right on up to and then compare it to have the luxury of having clean water to put into some foreign thing that you're going to feed your baby when you have it right here, and then to flip it and say, but we see tits, breasts everywhere. In a sexualized way.
Yeah.
That was powerful.
It was great. So I found that I was so excited. I was like, this is what the art of birthing is about. Yes. Hashtag art as advocacy. Really using art in a way that raises the voices of those who feel voiceless. All right. We're going to do our first giveaway. Woo, woo, woo. If you are on this call right now, you have a chance to win. It is a Virtually Vibing Box for 2. This first giveaway is being sponsored by the Mary Amelia Center here in New Orleans, associated with Tulane University. They are all about breastfeeding. They've helped support a lot of different campaigns around advocating for breastfeeding throughout our community here in New Orleans, as well as supporting Sista Midwife Productions and the events that we do. So right now, we are going to do a giveaway, and we're gonna let Heather pick a number. What's the number she need to pick from?
Can you please pick a number from 1 to 20?
That's so easy. Anyone that knows me knows I'm picking 3.
Number three. Who is that?
We're rolling. My assistant is rolling and picking number 3. I will get a name. I know this person. Constance is the winner.
Who?
What? Amefa. E-M-E-F-A. Amefa.
Amefa Constance. All right. Yes, Amefa. Email us. experiencethevibration@gmail.com. Let us know that you are the winner of this Virtually Vibing Box that's going to give you and a friend everything that you need to virtually vibe with us September 21st through September 27th for the entire art of birth. And I'm talking, I'm not even going to get into it. Baby, you're gonna be so excited. It's going to be exciting. So yeah. Oh, wait, that's not all.
But wait, there's more. So first I'd like to... I'd like to thank the Friends of New Orleans Public Library for allowing me to be able to give these books here that come from the AARC. These are children's books. They are classics. So you are going to get at least 2 of these classic African-American images children's book. And then you're going to get, hold on, there is a book, Free to Breastfeed, Voices of Black Mothers by Anaya Sangodele Ayoka. Oh, and Janine Valerie Logan. And Janine Valerie Logan.
So,
I got it.
And Janine. All right. Oh, I see a new face on the screen. I'm so excited. Right on time. Y'all about to be blown away by this thing right here. We talking about, look, and this is really exciting too, because Shukrani, the person I'm about to introduce who just joined us, is one of the founders of Black Breastfeeding Week. And Anaya is also one of the founders of Black Breastfeeding Week. This is really, really exciting. We did tell you all that we were going to be joined later in the show by a woman named Kimberly Stills Allers. If you do not know her, all you have to do is Google and all type of stuff is gonna come through. We gotta make sure her mic is unmuted, but in the meantime, I'm going to read her bio. I had to go through like 10 bios, y'all, to pull this together to make it into one, because she got all kind of fabulous information on her website. But Kimberly Stills Allers is an award-winning journalist, author of 5 books, international speaker, strategist, and advocate for maternal and infant health. A former senior editor at Essence Magazine and writer for Fortune Magazine, Kimberly is a leading commentator on birth, breastfeeding, and motherhood at the intersection of race, policy, and culture. Kimberly currently serves as the editorial director of the Maternal and Child Health Communication Collective, a national consortium of over 80 organizations funded by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. Kimberly provides communication, capacity building, strategic advisement, and other technical assistance to a variety of organizations ranging from university law centers to community organizing groups. She is deeply rooted in the lived experiences of mothers across the socioeconomic spectrum and has a vision for a world that supports mothering as valued work. Kimberly has led innovative community-based projects right here in New Orleans, Birmingham, Detroit, and Philadelphia that explore the impact of first food deserts, communities that severely lack accessible resources to support mothers who choose to breastfeed. In 2018, she founded Narrative Nation, a nonprofit that creates community-centered media and technology to eradicate health disparities. She is on a mission to question, challenge, disrupt, and then reimagine how we talk about birth and breastfeeding, and then break down the many structural barriers that women face in these areas. The goal is a new conversation. Come on, y'all. When I read this statement on her website, I was like, yes, 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 birth is the revolution. And I always say breast milk is the food of the revolutionaries, right? So the goal is a new conversation, that a new motherhood experience and a counterculture movement in infant feeding that begins with how we communicate and ends with how we activate our collective power as women. Kimberly is a graduate of NYU and Columbia, blah, blah, blah. But more importantly, she is a mother of 2. She is my friend, a colleague, a mentor, someone who I love dearly, and an all-around badass soul sister. So Kimberly, we are so happy to have you here today.
Oh my goodness, that was some kind of introduction. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
This is lovely. I love the setup. I love everything.
Okay, girl. Laissez-faire production group in New Orleans elevating, baby. We elevating the vibration. You understand what I'm saying? We are so happy to have you. We just been vibing, talking about breastfeeding. Shukrani, who is with the New Orleans Public Library, who I definitely need you. I can't wait to hear about the new thing that you're unveiling, the research that you're unveiling here in New Orleans. She's joined us because this is a part of the first Black Wellness Matters series that she has created. And so we just been talking about breastfeeding. Heather of Laissez-Faire Production Group breastfed her children. Shukrani doesn't have children, learn all kind of good stuff about breastfeeding and breast milk. And now we're here. And I want to just start with one quick question. It's Black Breastfeeding Week. You are one of the founders of Black Breastfeeding Week. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, this history that Black breastfeeding and breastfeeding in our community has some real historical trauma. There's a real historical story. And so we thought it was really important that we create a unique week that is carved out. People may know that August itself is National Breastfeeding Awareness Month, but Black Breastfeeding Week is the 25th to the 31st, where we are being intentional about celebrating Black breastfeeding. We know that for the rest of the year, there's always this talk about what Black women don't breastfeed and the disparities and how much we're dying and how much our babies are dying and how much we don't do this, but we don't do that during Black Breastfeeding Week. We celebrate, we amplify, as you say, we elevate, right? And we really, really want to celebrate what we know we are doing. We are reclaiming what was taken from us when we were enslaved and we were forced to breastfeed the children of our oppressors and to the detriment of our own children. So we are reversing narratives. We are reversing layers and generation of systemic oppression. We know that our foremothers didn't have many economic opportunities. So wet nursing was one of the few things they could do to earn money. And so there was a literal market created for us to be breeders and feeders for other people, but really denying us that motherhood journey of our own, really diminishing our own maternal autonomy. And we are reclaiming all of that during Black Breastfeeding Week. And we are celebrating and lifting up and we are restoring, particularly this year. And I'm excited to talk to you about it.
Yes, that is so beautiful and so necessary. I remember when Black Breastfeeding Week first kicked off and it was all kind of like, why do y'all need a Black breastfeeding? Like, girl, bye. Like,
Bye.
yeah. You
Goodbye. I mean, it was
this
really
is the
sad.
8th year now.
Yes. And you know what? And I said, I was hoping, and I'm glad to see that this year with the global racial reckoning on systemic oppression, I'm like, if one person says that this year, I will do the what's it called, the social shaming, the call out culture, cancel culture.
Yes.
Sometimes there's a need for that, but I'm really glad that we did not have this year. And to be honest, we stopped answering that question. If you don't know why we need a Black Breastfeeding Week, we don't have to
talking to you.
And also, we have a right to self-determination, right? If 3 people who have worked in this field for decades combined saw a need within their community, we don't have to answer to you. We don't have to explain it to you. You don't have to get it. It's fine. But this idea that something that we can't have something for us, like what is for us is not against you, it's just for us, right? And so we have just been very clear that we are not explaining that to people anymore. To you said Google can help you out, but that we are holding to our right to self-determination about what our community needs, and we're responding to our community until our community asks us or says, why, then we have nobody else to answer to.
Yes, I love that. That is so real. I love everything about that.
Virtually vibing.
We are virtually vibing. That was like a vibe. Oh, Kimberly, did you get your cocktail?
Hold on. You mind if I travel with you and go get it? Give me a second. I forgot. It's right here. It's right
here. That means
here.
Nothing's in it, Kimberly. That means nothing's in it.
Listen, I can fix that too. Hold on. All right. Got to fix that right quick.
Yes, fix that.
All right.
Break. Anybody else need a refill while we refilling?
For anybody who missed the very first cocktail.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
1 ratio fresh squeezed lime juice. 1 part. I had too many.
Equal parts.
Equal parts.
1 part lime juice, 1 part simple syrup, 2 parts vodka. Here we go. Lime juice.
Whoop.
Okay.
Simple syrup.
Whoop.
Vodka.
Whoop.
All right. Loop.
1.
2 loops.
Okay.
Oh, it's 2.
Hey. And then
we gonna shake it up. All right, back to our regular program.
So listen, what y'all do want to know is, I can't even remember who just won that Virtually Vibing box for 2. When you get your box, you're going to have cocktails already in it, baby, mixed for you. Not this drink. This is going to be a different cocktail that you will receive, but you will receive a cocktail in your box. And we do have another giveaway coming up in a little bit, sponsored by the Earth app, which Kimberly is going to share with us. But before we talk about the Earth app, I am super excited about the work that, let me just tell y'all. So people could talk about social media in all different kind of ways. I feel like my relationship with Kimberly is a testament to social media because she was doing some phenomenal work around breastfeeding. She was coming to New Orleans. This was before Kaylele, 10, 12 years ago. And she, maybe about 10 years ago, I'm thinking, and she was on Twitter and she had said something about, I'm going to New Orleans. Does anybody know anybody? I'm New Orleans all day. I could go real hard New Orleans if you want to. I'm New Orleans, okay? So people knew, oh, Sister Midwife is in New Orleans, so they tagged me. And I'm like, Kimberly Stills Allers, she's the Mocha Manual lady. Oh my God, I would love to have coffee with her, right? So I email her, we connect, we have coffee in a little coffee shop in a Treme area, and she tells me about the work that she was doing. I was so moved because I'm like, you're not even from here. And she was giving me stories that let me know she did not come here to play. When there were certain cues and things that she said, I was like, oh, you didn't come here to pretend talk to the people. You was on Claiborne, like really talking to the brothers on Claiborne, uptown, like on Martin Luther King in Claiborne, like, oh, okay. So now things have come so far. Oh, I'm so loud, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm working it out. Things have come a long way. You've done some work. You've come back more than once, repeatedly. Tell us a little bit about that work and what you were researching and how you're coming back soon for this, the unveiling of what you've learned working here.
Yeah, so I think when we first met in New Orleans, and I'm glad you remember that. I'll tell you, when we first met, I was working on these projects that were funded. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Let's stretch this a little bit.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was working on these projects funded by the Kellogg Foundation, and they were really based on this principle that in this work that we had spent a lot of time looking to public health authorities and the medical field and quote unquote experts, but that actually we had never asked the community if they had any ideas about solving some of the problems that we're seeing around birth and breastfeeding. And I had this thing that was like, listen, whatever the question, the answer's in the community. And I was working on a fellowship that actually was funded by the Kellogg Foundation, which I didn't know. And if you've been in a fellowship, when your funders come through, you do your dog and pony show and tell them what you're working on. And they were really interested in the things that I was writing about. And they, encouraged me to actually start testing these ideas. And so my first project was New Orleans, Jackson, Mississippi, and Birmingham, Alabama, my first 3 cities, really in the deep end of Black infant mortality rates, to see whether there was something on a community level, right? Like I'm a journalist by trade, right? And so my idea is about talking to people, and that is information. Now that data is not valued by certain institutional research outfits or whatever, but we needed to create a new set of data that was community sourced, right? And so that was what we were literally in teams, knocking on doors in neighborhoods, asking people, what's going on in your community? What do you think would be a solution? Talking to men about their perceptions about breastfeeding, because we know all these things matter. Going to malls and airports and seeing whether there's a lactation rooms. Where is she gonna go if she's at Walmart? Like there were real community-based questions and solutions. And so that work led me to really develop this concept around first food deserts, right? In the same way that we understand that food deserts exist, the USDA documents that people should not have to travel 30 miles to get a banana or some healthy fruits and vegetables, right? Mm-hmm. But people were not having local support to feed their baby the most optimal food. And so this idea that the community was actually an important piece of the puzzle that was being ignored, where everybody was counting numbers, was the foundation of that work. And I started that work in New Orleans, and that idea of going to the community has really led me to build Earth as now a digital platform that is about how do we take the things that I heard in New Orleans and in Birmingham, then we went to Philadelphia, we worked in Detroit, and then I went to the West Coast, but put them all in one digital platform in one place so we can really use them as a collective change, collective force for good. So that was the beginning, the evolution of the revolution. So it's all been growing up to this point.
Yes, that is so beautiful. So you mentioned Earth. We definitely want to learn more about Earth and tell us in general what Earth is, but also since this is Black Breastfeeding Week, if there are places inside of the Earth app that allow us to talk about breastfeeding, tell us about that as well.
Yeah, so Earth is like the word birth, but we dropped the B for bias, so it's IRTH, right? And so Earth is a new digital platform that's launching this fall. It is a Yelp-like app that is made for Black and Brown birthing people by Black and Brown women, so that you can find and leave reviews of hospitals and physicians around your maternity and infant care. So we know that people are not being treated the same way, even at the same place. You know, we know that bias and racism is at the root of the Black maternal morbidity and morbidity crisis, the infant mortality crisis, even disparities in breastfeeding, right? These are all connected to the systemic racism in this country, right? And that history. So we can't ignore that. And so we are creating a public platform to really say we are our sister's keeper, and we're going to let each other know where we are receiving good care and where we're not, right? It has been too long that this information has been held by hospitals in secret databases that they can only access, or hidden on websites that we can't find and we can't understand. So we say we actually have consumer power, and we're going to use that to collectively say, I'm going to let my community know where I'm receiving good care and where I'm not, and that's all going to be public. And then on the back end, while we take these qualitative experiences, we're turning that into quantitative data because they love their data, right? So now we have these collective experiences to say, listen, we have 3,000 women from New Orleans, and 90% of the Black women say this, and 80% of the same-sex couples, or whatever it is about these specific experiences, and we expect you to do better. So the goal is to have this front-end consumer-making tool, consumer decision-making tool, but this back-end data that we can push these hospitals for change and to make it public and transparent.
That is beautiful. I'm just going to make one comment. We are short on time, so we're going to push through the rest of our program quickly, but I do have to say this. So interesting that how this is coming together. I have attempted with 1, 2, 3, 4 interns that I can say by name to pick up the phone. Hi, I'm a public health student. We're investigating maternal and infant options throughout the city of New Orleans. Can you tell us, does your hospital support VBAC? Does your hospital support breastfeeding or whatever? Simple questions. Time after time again, I can't answer that question. Wait, you can't tell me if your hospital supports VBAC? You can't tell me if your hospital supports twin vaginal birth? Or they'll say yes, but then the next question is, can you give me the name of a physician? The answer is, oh, we can't say that. And I'm thinking to myself, how does somebody know without going to Facebook and searching a natural birth group, searching a breastfeeding group? But see, now we got Earth, baby. I love it.
Yes,
Earth.
and when you speak to those hospitals, their focus is on liability. That's why they're not going to answer any question, not going to tell you anything, because they are centered on protecting themselves and not on protecting us, and that is playing out in the outcomes. And so I'm excited about that.
How do we access Earth that visit? Go ahead, Shukrani.
I just want to jump in from the institutional side, because as the African American Resource Collection librarian, that's where we're changing our vision so that we can connect the databases to the community, so that we can be the informational gatekeepers, because sometimes you just need the information in one place. And so if everybody knows, oh, I can go to the library and get this database, or at least find out about this database, because it's one thing to create it, it's another thing to get people to know this is a resource, a free resource that they can depend on. So yes, please include the library in that conversation.
And so that leads me to my question. Yeah, that's you. How do people find the app, and how do is it all the way live? It's still in beta testing? Tell us where the app is.
Okay, great, so much. And Nicole, I have literally 5 minutes before I have to jump to my next thing.
Okay, us too.
So go good. So the app and its MVP form will be released in October. So we're super excited about that. It's being built by our all women of color team. We are excited to put it out there and to get it moving. So it is coming in October, and so we're super excited about that. And we'll be coming, back to talk to you about helping us with our launch activities.
Yes, and we will, and we're excited about that. Okay, look, real quick, pick a number. So Earth, okay, listen, y'all heard about the giveaways already. Earth is one of our giveaway sponsors. She's giving away 1 box tonight. We're gonna give another one away on the website, but right now we're giving away 1 box. Pick a number between, what is it,
1 and 20. Pick a number between 1 and 20.
Pick a number, 1 and 20.
All right, I'm picking my birthday, the 19th. 19th,
baby.
19th.
Who we got?
Hold on. Here we come. We're getting the name. It's my assistant is working on it. It is Andrea Jai, Jai.
All right.
Andrea
Andrea
Jai.
Jai.
Yes,
Right.
yes. And so, Andrea, you're getting the box, you're getting the children's book, and then you're going to get Melanoid Breast Milk, the first building blocks to strong family foundation and community, written by Ariane Linnea Randolph.
All right. This has been wonderful. I am excited that you were able to join us, Kimberly. This has been exciting. We are also moving. We are glad that you were able to join us because we too are over time. And I know that this is a big week for everybody. That's why we didn't show any documentaries. We're going to have Kimberly back the week of on September 26th when we show the full documentary. So y'all stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're about to
check out our upcoming.
Yes, our Chuck come. Yes, thank you, Heather. All kind of stuff is going. All kind of stuff is happening. So Kimberly, jump off. You good. We love you. We'll be in touch soon. Thank you so much for showing up.
For the support. Love
yes,
you.
It's wonderful. Love you as well.
Okay, bye.
So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to phase in to give you some information about the rest of the art of birthing, what that looks like and what that's going to feel like. With the art of birthing, we will be creating an intentional national virtually vibing experience. As we get started in September, we don't want you to simply join the vibe. We want you to experience the full vibration of the art of birthing. How do you do that? Pre-order your virtually vibing event access box. This box will give you access to our events and all the supplies you need to vibe with us all week long. Things will kick off on September 21st with our Birth Justice Film Festival. Over the course of the week, you will have the opportunity to view 4 engaging documentaries and participate in some phenomenal panel discussions. One of the fun highlights of the week will be our Cocktails and Campuses on September 25th, featuring the art instruction of New Orleans' very own Art by Jay. When you pre-order your virtually vibing box, not only will you get virtual access to the documentary screenings, you will also receive your paint kit with all of the things that you need, including cocktails, to fully participate in our Cocktails and Canvases event. On Sunday, we will close out the week with a live broadcast from Them Black Mamas. If you're in New Orleans, be sure to watch for details to see how you can join us in person for our Mamas and Mimosas brunch at Back of Town Cafe. Want to go deeper? Register for one of our wellness workshops taking place during the day on Thursday and Friday. These workshops are designed to help you examine your thoughts and attitudes around birth, breastfeeding, and spirituality. They will be uplifting and raise your vibration. Boxes are on sale and registration is open. Space is limited and sales for the boxes will end September 10th. So head on over to theartofbirthing.info to learn more and to get your box and get ready to feel the vibration. All right, y'all. So that is theartofbirthing.info. Make sure that you visit the website. Don't leave, baby, don't wait on the next live to win your box. Go ahead and get your box before these boxes sell out because they will sell out, right? And the people who order earliest, I was talking to my girl, Eleni from Ascension Art today. She's throwing in some Yoni Steam samples, but you got to be one of the first box orders to get one of these samples. I'm just saying. We are going to be drawn to a close, but I'm super excited to see that Elizabeth Bane was able to jump in and join us. Greetings, Elizabeth. Can you just get, we were able to give your final takeaways. We're so grateful that you sent those over to us and Heather was able to share that with the audience. We are over time, but if you want to say one quick thing, we would love to be able to hear your voice on our live tonight.
Thank you so much. And I'm sorry I couldn't join earlier. I'm sad I missed Kimberly. The one thing I'll say is that I think what you all are doing is amazing, like checking out that video and the energy and the vibe. And this is beautiful because when I started this project several years ago, I didn't know anything about breastfeeding. I didn't know anything about the challenges of giving birth for Black women. And a lot of these things were part of our traditions that have been lost. And so seeing this collective swell of energy and advocacy from within our community, solving our own problems in these really creative ways is like really inspired me because I've seen in just the last 5 years, I've seen the change happen and I've seen us do it on our own. And I think it's a great example. Like people think, oh, it's just about breastfeeding, it's just about birth, it's just about moms. This is about a community activism. This is about empowering ourselves and creating our own change so that we can live quality, thriving lives. And breastfeeding, the Black breastfeeding community, you set an example for everyone else, whether it's criminal justice reform, educational reform, housing, like what you all are doing sets the precedent. And this is a prime example. So congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. This is a collective movement. It's not just about breastfeeding. It's really why I say birth is the revolution. And be clear, birth is just one word. We're talking about preconception to breastfeeding, and everything in between is important. So thank you, Elizabeth. We look forward to having you as a part of the panel when we actually show the documentary on September 26th. And we'll have you all back. We'll have Kimberly back. We'll have a few other panelists back. And now, I mean, listen, we didn't talk about breastfeeding. We talked about challenges. We dibble-dabbled a little bit in racism. I do want to mention this, that all of the things that we're doing with the Art of Birthing is a fundraiser. We are training healthy birth ambassadors throughout the state of Louisiana to improve birth outcomes. And so the funding that we do celebrate from the Art of Birthing will help with that. We will have artwork going on sale. Watch our Instagram starting on September 1st. Like I said earlier, we always like to include a little bit of spoken word in the things that we do. And so we want to send you out with a little bit of a feel-good vibe. We love Black breastfeeding. We love Black people, and we love Black folks. And I'm going to turn it over to Heather to introduce this piece to y'all.
Yeah, so I, of course, Nicole was able to really give thanks to all of our 2020 sponsors and community partners, and House of Blues NOLA is one of those. And so we're really excited to present this spoken word piece from Tank and the Bangers from one of their performances for the culture. Thanks to House of Blues NOLA.
I am Tariana Tank Ball. This is my Black experience in America. With accompaniment by Norman Spence on keys and guitar, Albert Allenback on flute and multiple percussions, and Jonathan Johnson on bass. I would like to thank the House of Blues for opening their doors to me and giving me this platform to speak about my journey for the culture, Tuesdays and Thursdays at House of Blues. Here it goes. This is Black folk. Woo! Yeah! Uh-huh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I love Black folk. Oh, I love me some Black folk. Black look like it's a different world, sound like a crawfish boil in New Orleans. And got friends from living single. Black folk joke around like Martin and got paintings from JJ in the living room. Black sound strong, look like sacrifice. It be flowers blooming in the summertime. Sound like old songs. Black sound like good food, but it tastes like heart disease, but it look like maize at Jazz Fest. Black sound like something that hurt like a hard test. Black sound like skin like something that's dark. Black sound like hair, yeah. Black sound like hair, like good and bad hair sound like rape. Look like history, like spiritual. Black sound like years, like working, like night. Black sound like money, like Walmart, like cash register singing. Black sound like 500 or 400, 300 years. Black sound like Oprah, sing like Nina Simone. Got ass like Serena, look like Cicely Tyson. Black feel like broken homes, sound like Section 8. Smell like crack and collard greens, sound motivational. Sound like church, sound spiritual. Sound like Tyler Perry, sound like sneaky uncles. Sound like making money, sound like hating, don't it? Feel frustrated, huh? Like they just don't get it. Like they won't ever get it, huh? Like push your feelings of racial injustice so far underneath the carpet that what? You done tripped over your own family history. But I love Black folk. I love the I love the police, the hair grease, the rental fees, the front row seats, the projects, the mustard greens being laced, social security checks, government assistance, bougie black looking good, bags of hair, fake nails, press on, red tail stunting, gold chain, gold tee, black men and big ass feet. Oh, I just love me some black folk. They are the people that were made from the darkest parts of the sky. Part man, part God. Of course they'd get lost coming from this place, distracted by dangles, goals, and mines, smoking things that shimmer and shine, a place of embers. But I pray that the compass that leads the way isn't broken and we can all return home, because I just love me some black folk.
All right, y'all. This is The Art of Birthing signing out. We're happy that you showed up. Make sure that you visit theartofbirthing.info. Make sure that you get there for all of the details. Follow us on Instagram, The Art of Birthing _. Follow us on Facebook, The Art of Birthing. Join us for the power of home birth. We'll see you on Labor Day. Peace.